Okay. All right, guys, let's get started. This is Prashant Kumar. Um, I am the owner of my company, of course, a small company, My Realty Gains Management. We do meet once in 2 weeks here, and the goal of these webinars is to impart knowledge and share the learnings that a lot of us have gone through this process, and our goal is just to network with everybody, basically, right? Just a little bit about myself. Um, again, just a little bit about myself. I have 25 years in technology and management, and for last 5 years, I've been doing real estate. I have been involved in many projects in GP capacity. We did about 1,200 units um, in in GP capacity in 2019, 2020. Obviously, we didn't do much, but we did do a lot of assisted living projects in 19, 20, and we are closing few deals this year also. And we want to continue to explore assisted living across United States as we go forward, right? So this, you know, our strengths are primarily, underwriting and meticulously do the financials on these projects and reduce redundancies. So we plan to continue to do multifamily syndications this year, and of course, assisted livings also. I don't want to bore you guys with my introduction. I would like to introduce. Having said that, I would like to introduce uh, our great guest today. Today we have with us, Pratima and Bhuvan Sharma. Uh, both Bhuvan and Pratima, I mean, they are good friends of mine. I know him for last couple of months, and just a little bit of introduction about them is, they are real estate professionals, with multifamily leadership experience, and they are very well experienced in buying, asset managing, refinancing, and selling multifamily assets. Their real estate transactions amount to over $112 million, and they have paid approximately $20 million in cash payouts to their investors. They have comprehensive financial bank, financing experience with nationwide lenders, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, as well as have worked with local banks. They strive on producing quality work. They possess great communication skills. They know how to deal with difficult people and difficult situations. They have strong command over technology tools, and they understand the market and the financials. They were gracious enough today to talk. I know we all talk about deals, we all talk about investors, we all talk about either the entry or the exit, but nobody talks about the asset management, right? So I mean, I asked them, what do you want to talk about? They said, guys, let's talk something unique, and which is their real core strength: asset managing the projects. You can buy a good project, and you can bring that good project to knees if you are not a good asset manager, right? And if you are a good asset manager, you can buy a bad project and make that as a good project. So the real strengths, with Bhuvan and Pratima have, and I with respect, I call them Bhuvanji and Pratimaji. The real strength is basically to in the asset management. They are extremely good, seasoned asset managers on their own deals, and they have helped many syndicators to grow their businesses also. So having said that, Pratima ji and Bhuvan ji, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming. And this is a small group. That's what we have here. Today we have about 15 people. Sometimes we have more, but I mean, I'm sure everybody would love to hear from you about your experiences in asset management.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you for having us on this webinar. It's a great honor to be here. And
Right. And we really appreciate you bringing us on. It doesn't matter how small your company is or the group is, it's how important it is.
right.
So we are really delighted to join you here today. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I mean, we have invited you now, and I'm sure we will invite you again here in future. But let's start with some. I would just ask questions here, guys, and feel free. On the audiences, anybody has any questions, feel free to ask questions in the chat window, and I will monitor the chat window. Uh, I mean, I really wanted to ask, Pratima ji and Mohan ji, is what kind of challenges have you faced in asset management during your tenure? I know you have been in the industry for the last 5, 6 years or maybe more. Um, please walk us through some of the challenges that you have faced.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, asset management is, in our opinion, is the key to the asset performance. And we are very hands on asset management. We always work with a third party company for management, but we are full time involved on asset managing the assets. So, since you asked about the challenge, did you want to share one of the challenges we faced about
Yeah.
our?
You know, there are many challenges, but I think this is more stand out for us. Is We were buying a property almost 2 years ago, and it was a $34 million property, 300 units up in Dallas area. We are from Dallas, by the way, and so we everything was going good. Week before, we got a call from our lender. They, hey, by the way, we were going through your title, and we found out that your property is on the borderline of Texas Department of Transportation. Means that they are doing some easement work, which they might take some of our property line, and you will have they are going to give you very minimal. And also, since it's an easement, they were saying that they're going to put a sound barrier towards that. It means that you will there will be a lot of destruction. We're going to come in and out heavy equipment, and on top of that, even though the survey was already approved, they said, well, because of that, there were some easement works done. We will require you to do a new survey. Now we're talking about 8 days before. Our loan was going to close in 7 days. We have to do a new survey. Survey takes about 2.5, 3 weeks to do it. So we were just freaking out.
Our
And
rate was
as
already
right,
locked, and that was over. Several $100,000 were would have been in the penalty if we had not closed within 7 days.
right. So our rate was like we cannot extend, and same time they were discussing we can do double closing. The seller was saying, "Oh, let's easy double closing." So anyway, we said there's no way we can do double closing. We have to do survey. So we call a 911 survey. So we reach out to the surveyor, and they were able to do survey in 3 days. And average survey costs about $5,000 to $6,000. We end up paying $25,000 for survey just because we were going to. If we don't close it, we're going to have under 350, $400,000 in our bucket. So, uh, you know, whatever we have to do, we were able to get the survey done, and we that survey doesn't mean just a survey needs to be done. It has to go to the city for approval, and it was a Christmas time. So guess what? So we had to call everyone in the city from home office to bring them just to do the approve the survey so we can close the deal. It was like a 911 call, like any standard. You can see that. So we were time bound. We had no option that what we need to do. So we were running around like a chicken cut their head. But the good thing is that we were able to get the survey done. Um, we were able to close the deal on time, and it just that eminent domain just kind of freaking us out. What do we need to do? We paid $25,000. The good thing is that because it was seller's fault, So they took care of the $25,000. So this is one of the challenge that you see, because no matter how we close about 11 properties or 10 properties before, but we had never thought that something like this could happen. We have done every single thing, everything right. We lender got involved, property management, nothing was going wrong. And just about 1 week before or 8 days
Right.
before, you hear this thing. So some of those challenges that you have to overcome, there's no property is same. You close one property today, next day or next month you do something, it could be completely different.
Right. That's why it is so important to have the right context and build the right team.
Right.
And that's how we were able to pull through. We called it a 911 response over the weekend, finished the survey. Yes, we paid top price, but luckily in the end, as Bhuvan was saying, the seller had to cover that survey fee, and we saved those hundreds of thousands of dollars that were going to be an impact had we not closed. So,
So
Guys,
remember,
just hold on, okay? I mean, this is insane. I mean, listening a story like this, I know you are underplaying this quite a bit, but the listeners, those who are on the call, basically, we are sharing the experiences in asset management. These are the challenges that. So, what is asset management? Managing the whole transaction and managing the asset during the life cycle. That is
right.
called asset management. And what Bhuvanji and Pratimaji has just said, that typically we do the third party property management, and they actually are so much hands on. They are on top of each and everything that happens in the transaction, and they're going to explain that a little bit more. But they manage, because they love their work so much. They manage their work. They're involved in each and every step of the way. And I have been involved in many many transactions also, and I have not heard anything like this before. That 7 days before, lender is giving us hard time, to saying that you need a survey, new survey. I mean, survey, come on, it's like not it's not a matter of 5,000 or 25,000. It is the amount of time that survey takes.
Right.
right.
So what these guys have done in 5 days, getting the survey done during Christmas time, nobody responds. I mean, forget about city. I would not pick up my phone during that time. But that this is an incredible story. And this is something which doesn't come with. If you would ask me, as in the beginning, that I need to get a survey done, I would be shaking my legs. But I mean, this is something only an experienced person can take it through. Can get it done. So I mean, I know they are very humble and talking very quietly, but consider that that's a major thing that could happen in
Right.
any project.
Right, Prasad.
Thank you.
Anytime you say this called the word called eminent domain, we had never heard this word. We were in the business for almost that time 6.5 years, and we say, what is eminent domain? Excuse me. We had no idea. So we start looking for the install caller lender. I said, oh my God, are you sure you have an eminent domain issue? And then we realized that. So the point is that, you know, any anytime you do any closing or you're actually buying a property, you do all the due diligence. There's always going to be something that a last minute thing, something might change. And this was a rude awakening, and we thought we were going to have a good weekend. Friday 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then we're going to have a nice cup of nice wine, and we're closing the property next week. And then you hear the phone, okay, by the way, we have a problem. And then the problem is that at, I remember that till 9 p.m. we were with lender discussing how we can overcome that, what can be done. So we had so many things going on, and whole weekend we worked. But the good thing is that you just have to find a way. You have to have a right team. You have to have the right people to go and call. Yeah, it is going to cost money, but you're talking about 30 to $30 million deal. If it's going to cost you another $25,000, it's okay, because you have put almost $500,000 in the hard money. Means if you don't close the property, you're going to lose $500,000. So rather pay $25,000 and get the work done. We'll figure this out later on. But in this case, we were lucky enough that our seller, and they realized that that was their fault. They did not, inform that there was a eminent domain issue, that Texas Department of Transportation, they were going to put a sound barrier. They had to go to the whole property and bring heavy equipment. So they got $25,000, the seller. They were keeping $25,000 and not giving us, end up they giving us later on. So
Yeah.
it's,
It turned
it's,
out to be a win for us.
yeah,
And that's why, we always call ourselves students for life.
right.
Every time we close a property, there are always new things to be learned. So,
No, very good. So, guys, those who are new to this kind of investing, passive investing, for them, I mean, this today's webinar is more focused on what a sponsor goes through, which a passive investor really doesn't know. I mean, yes, investor does make living out of it, but how much, how much, what kind of, how much pressure that it sponsor goes through to get the deal done, and in the end giving away almost all the returns. I mean, you have seen the deals like 80/20, you are and eight pref, seven prefs. The first 7-8% of the return goes to the investor, and then on top of it, 80/20 split towards the investor. How little sponsor makes out of that deal, but what sponsor has to go through to get that deal going and to keep their reputation up and running, because if they make mistake, if the sponsor makes one mistake, their reputation gets ruined so quickly, years worth of work gets ruined so quickly. So that is something that I wanted to highlight. It's very good. So somebody is asking what is their background in real estate. I mean, we talked about
Sure.
it. They have, maybe a little bit, guys. You want to talk a little bit about yourself, if you don't
yeah,
Sure,
mind?
sure.
absolutely.
We can go over very briefly. I think for real estate, typically we came from an IT background. I spent all our life in the IT. About 7-8 years ago, we started this real estate business. We wanted to do a single family, but we realized that we were working too many hours, corporate America. We had team in India, China, France, both of us. So, so we said, well, I don't think single family is something for us. So we started exploring the multifamily side. So in 2013 or 2014, we bought our first apartment complex for $1.2 million. And since then, we never look back. So basically, this is we call ourselves a real estate professional. From perspectives, that's all we do. We have done 11 deals so far, means 11 syndication, total portfolio. Prashant, you already mentioned that $120 million, and we have paid $20 million to our investors. I mean, that's a short story, but
Yeah, so you mentioned first multifamily we purchased was about $1.2 million. The last one we purchased last year was over $34 million. And so every year we have been purchasing one or two multifamilies. We have transacted through over 6,500 units now. That is over 32 properties. So as we are syndicating, we are also passively investing into the deals. So we have, as Bhuvan is saying, 10, 11 syndicated deals. We have over 22 passive investments and key guarantor investments where we are the key guarantors in the deals. And yeah, you might have to explain that to your listeners.
Yeah.
But these deals are in DFW or Dallas area, Dallas Fort Worth, as well as in Arizona, Florida, and Atlanta.
Interesting. 1.2 million, guys. You can hear the journey here. Okay, if you have not heard it, 1.2 million, 212 million in 8 years. So that's the portfolio value that you guys have been managing. Definitely, this is something. It's a great achievement. But that, I mean, one thing I would say is this kind of growth is possible only in commercial real estate, and especially in multifamily asset class, um, where as the number of units grow, you can as your experience grow, your ability to think and do bigger and better deals that grow. So, 8 years, 1.2 million, 212 millions. And that itself, speaks a lot of stories. There's not much to be added here. But coming back to the original question, I know you talked about one story for one challenge in asset management. Um, what else would you like to share with your, audience,
Sure,
those who
sure.
are listening to you?
Yeah, we would love to share. I mean, we have gone through so many challenges, but yeah, I'll share another one. But before that, I just wanted to, for your the folks who are listening, um, just our corporate background as well. So in
Yeah.
last 8 years, we have both turned into full-time real estate professionals. My previous experience is from telecommunications industry. I was involved in the research and development on the telecommunication side. I led the multi-departmental engineering teams over there. I, successfully led and tracked several complex development and design solutions that met, company goals and maximize the results using cost-effective strategies. So we were aware of how to work in team environment, how to manage millions of dollars of budgets. So when we started to look into real estate, that platform was already ready for us to move on. Then we took over some of the real estate classes, courses, joined some groups, and built that strength. And then, slowly we started to move fully into the real estate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, our schooling background is we both went for graduate school and we both have computer science degree, MBA. But I think this is just kind of a transition. Coming to this is, yeah, we were managing a IT project. This was a completely different. You're working at a different set of people. In IT side, you're working for the professional who has high class degree. Here, you're working with some of the people who have just a high school, but they are so professional. They are the one who's running the property on a day-to-day basis. So there is a change in a pace, but the bottom line is that how you want to manage your properties.
I would say I would add one more thing in that I'm also an IT professional, and I also manage a lot of teams. Um, yes, you are work in that corporate world. You are working for somebody anyway, and now
Right.
there's a transition that you are working for yourself. So the responsibility becomes yours. Onus That's your onus to produce results. Nobody else is watching you. Yes, of course, your skills come handy, but you have to manage. There's nobody asking you to start your day at 8 o'clock and finish it at 6 o'clock. You probably start much earlier and go till much late. I guess,
Exactly right.
and uh, same with me also. So yes, it is similar. It gives you the edge over others, but I mean, in my mind, it is harder than working for somebody else.
No, definitely right. I think it just to one more thing before Pratima started is that we both have left our corporate America job. I left about 4.5 years ago. Pratima left her job
about a year and a
a
half
year and
ago.
a half ago. So
Right.
we were doing a great job, but just like you said, this is our own business.
Yeah. Now it's our time. We have the financial freedom, the time freedom. I don't know about time freedom.
I
We
know.
are we are still, busy day in and out, but it's our decision. It's we are in control.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit more about challenges, little more challenges
Yes.
that you guys face in your day-to-day
Sure. So about
management.
3 years ago or so, we took over a low income property. And our plan was to do a full value add. Our rehab budget was $2 million, little bit more than $2 million. And we went and inspected their one of the student rooms or community rooms. This property is full of families, had over 35 kids on that property alone. and they used to run after school and summer school programs. So the challenge we had was the room when we visited the student center. It was just a very distressed room for kids. Dim lights, old furniture, broken furniture, very dirty kitchen, dingy bathroom. It was, that it, we have never seen, like, at corporate world, or when we went to school here, a blackboard so much. But this property, which was built in late 60s, had a blackboard, you know instead of
Chocolate.
all the chalkboard kind of. So we took on that challenge. We said, okay, we have to do something here. We brought our team. Just over the weekend, we put in new flooring, LED lights, painted it all bright, put the new whiteboard, brought a TV there, changed the furniture, got a computer for kids so that they can get some help, doing their homework, got a printer, and filled in some more books, and rearranged. The whole team was busy doing that over the weekend. Monday afternoon came, and kids started to come in, and as they came, they were shocked. They're like, oh, what happened here? Because years and years they were coming there, to this dingy room, and all of a sudden it's all bright and everything's new. They were just shocked. You should have seen their faces. Some of them started crying, and just in a week or so, we received over 40 love notes from the kids.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that was that was our reward, getting the thank you notes, loving notes from them. So,
Yeah, the one thing to add is that, you know, we could have done on weekend, but because of the number of students they're working, they work, their school stopped at 6 p.m. on Friday. They come back. It was summertime, and they come back Monday morning. So we only have time the weekend to do the thing, and most of the time the community center is busy doing something else, adult classes. But we just took on that we had to redo the whole thing. It's literally redo the whole thing from scratch, new furniture and all this thing. It was just a challenge for us to do it. But I think the thing that what we like to do is not getting a property and running a property or getting rent. There is sense of community event that we have.
Yeah, this kind of resonates to the idea. I mean, of course, what you have done is something incredible in itself, and you get the real pride out of this. But it kind of resonates with the idea that the value add that we are doing in these multifamily properties, you are actually improving the quality of life for the residents who are living there, right? I mean, this kind of fall in line with that approach, and all the syndicators I have talked to. I mean, I would say more than 75% syndicators, they come with that attitude of serving, um, from the bottom of their heart, serving the community, and sharing the knowledge, and that's what I guess you guys are also doing in your business and in the community also. So it kind of resonates. The purpose of the business that we are doing is to improve the quality, not not just our lives. We are of course making some money out of it, but improve the quality of life for the community, the residents who are living in those properties, or those who are using the assets, which you own. So yeah, no, that's awesome.
right, the
Great.
sense of social responsibility. While you're doing good, you you aspire to do good for others.
Very good. Very nice. Very good. So guys, a little bit more. At what level? I mean, what is your day to day? Let's say you own a property for for 2 years or 3 years. If you don't mind us walking through, what would you do on that property during this life cycle? Once you have purchased it, what is that do you do to it until you exit of that project? If you don't mind me asking that, for the viewers' sake.
Sure, sure thing, sure. So, asset performance is very important to us from many aspects, right? Uh, from the aspects of our residents, from the aspects of our investors, right? It's their funds which are helping us purchase the property. So we owe the returns to them. They projected our goal is always, beat or meet the projections. So we are very hands-on on asset management. Our goal is always to be involved with the management team, making sure, that we are there to strategize leasing. We are there to set up operational goals. We are there to handle capital improvements and, handle budgets, planning out budgets, operational as well as the capital budgets. And this is, to make sure that the strategic systems are in place, strategic, uh, you know, operational goals are set in place for the staff, so that we can meet or beat the projections, right? So um, your property management team can, you know, they are good in handling the property, but taking the property from one level to another is where we come in. We need to know what the submarket is. We are always very cognizant about the market and the economics which are going on. If you have purchased a property in a specific submarket, you need to know what kind of upgrades would go well in that market. What kind of occupancy are you expecting in that market? So you read those KPI indicators and you strategize your leasing according to that. You strategize your operational plans based on that. So that's what goes on in our days, which property are we taking over, set up the full planning, and then making sure week over week basis that the plan is fully, being executed.
Yeah, that's go all the way till the end. And whether you're in the middle, you're starting to do a refi, we have planned for 2 years refi or refinance, basically cash out refi, depending on how people want to call. And then you want to keep the property, or then you want to sell it after 2.5, 3 years. So it just everything is pre-planned out. The way we do it is we do a very thought out process. Pratima has explained, when we take over the property, before even taking over, uh, we could have spent almost, I would say, at least 200 to 300 hours just to making an offer to a property that we are looking for to buy before LOI, letter of intent, goes out. When we pick up the property, the whole team is with us. So we are going through step-by-step process, setting up goals, setting out expectation from us, from our management company. The management company is, they're managing 8, 10,000 units. For us, for them is, we are one of their property. For our job as asset management is, well, I want you to see my property management companies. We are the number one. We want you to see. So that's what asset management comes in, to make sure that we are setting up our goal and expectation.
Right. So, right. So that is, one area that day-to-day operations at the property and working day-to-day with the property management as well as the staff out there. The other thing, as I had mentioned earlier, our focus is not just acquiring multifamily properties, but to make a difference at the residential community itself. It's very important to us that the residents living over there, we are able to make a difference in their life. We are able to add quality to their life. And for that reason, I'll just name a few things that we do at our properties. We work with other organizations to bring programs to our properties. Should it be running after school care or summer programs? Also, we promote education at our properties. So at the start of each school year, we always give out free back to school supplies. We also, care for the health of our residents, by providing educational training. For example, we take them for nutritional training trips. We can take them to a store, say Whole Foods, and we would take kids over there and have them read the labels in the back of the food packets so that they understand what is the value of nutrition, what should they be looking at, what should, how they make the decision in purchasing the best nutritional food. We also hold English as second language classes if it's needed at that property, to overcome the language barrier. That facilitates the resident communicate with others, communicate with us, communicate with the property staff. Um, we also arrange for medical screenings of our residents as much as possible. So these are some of the things that we do at our properties. um, yeah, so
And those are all complimentary. We don't provide any. There is no charges for our community. Even running after school program, there is a minimal cost because as part of the program that we have to do like $4 or $5 per child. But they get evening when they come from the school, they got snacks, free snacks. They people have them how to do homework. In the summertime, they have a full summer program from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We provide them breakfast, we provide them lunch, we snack, and it is all
their
covered.
day trips.
They
So
day trips to
right,
wherever they're going to zoo or someone
yeah.
else.
So we
Well,
work with other organizations and take care of the expenses ourselves.
interesting, interesting. Guys, I have never heard any syndicator, and trust me when I say I have never heard, I have really never heard anybody doing what all you guys have been doing along with the business. You are doing so much more to make the difference in the community. Hats off to both of you guys. I mean, it's really commendable. You come with an attitude of giving, and I'm pretty sure, when you give something, you always get part of it back for sure, but that's not the intention when you do something like that. I mean, that would, I mean, it's just awesome. So I have one question. Somebody's asking is, what kind of team do you have have you put together for your business? What kind of people do you have in your team?
Very good question. So we have team put together from all types of areas where we can lead. So for example, there are brokers in our team. Obviously we want to look for a specific area, a specific property. You need to network with them. So we have very bright brokers in our team. We have lender brokers, lenders and banks who are in our team. We have tax advisors. We have long-term key principals who can, on the loan, as the need arises, can be the guarantor, can sign with us on the loan. We have long-term passive investors. You always need the funding, and if you have a ready team, that helps. We have very talented attorneys on our team. So we have, from uh, you know, uh, A to Z, whatever is the need for a multifamily. Should it be, acquiring it, operating it, and running these different programs, event coordinators, and also we have all those in our team, and they have been with us. A lot of them have been with us since very beginning.
Yeah. And we also have a property management company. We mentioned that third party property management. They've been with us for the last 8 years. The idea was that this property management company didn't want it to take over 50 units. That the very first property that we bought, it was 52 units. Our last one we bought 300 units. So they come along with that. There is a sense of how we want to see. So they see us how we're doing. So everything has to be together from broker and all the way to the, obviously broker will sell the property, and in between our KP is basically guarantor. Just for the people of this audience here, KPs are the guarantor. When you buy a property, your net worth may not be enough, so you need to have someone else to sign a loan. Basically, if you're buying a house and your brother needs a house, or brother is buying a house, he's a good earning, but he doesn't have enough earning that bank will say, well, I need to have a signer for you to have. So you go and help your brother. You just become a signer. So those kind of stuff you need for buying a large property, you know. So those are the guarantors that you're talking about.
So I know this is your business, but in your business, besides you, do you have other employees or other partners who are helping with you on a day-to-day, like with you in the grinds on a day-to-day basis? Do you have any other people? I mean, do you have different roles in what you do, or you do everything together? So that's another question.
We do everything together. So my focus is a lot of the times on financial analysis. Bhuvan takes care of a lot of rehab or capex. But
It's a compliment.
yeah, we complement each other. We can take over for each other. He can, if needed, he can do the financial analysis and I can look at the rehab. But if the question is regarding having another partner under 7Cs, 7Cs is our company, then the answer is no, it's just us. But we do have a team of guarantors, we do have a team of, passive investors.
Yeah, we do have our executive assistants. If some of you went on the lead, our mailing list. So yes, she comes and help us out.
Very good. And how do you find I know somebody's asking, how do you find organizations to partner with on the housing community side? How do you find those organizations where you partner with somebody in the organization to serve the community? Um, what is your
So
thought on that?
you look for local, you look in the local area, you'll find those organizations who are willing to help. Plus, we have a event coordinator. In last few years, we have hired her, and we work with her on day-to-day basis and assign the projects, and then she goes and then implements those and helps us out.
Got it. Okay. And one more question is, how did you guys learn this business? I mean, when you learned it, when you started it, what was your journey at that point? I know we have talked about last 8 years, what you have done, but how did
Right.
you actually start this when you started it?
Right. So, we did a lot of learning for ourselves, internet learning, a lot of books, but, we joined a group, real estate group, and then start learning from there. Basically help us out to train, handhold us, just go through the whole education process that, what are you looking for? What do you need to do? What rehab needs to be do, how to underwrite a deal, just kind of become a networking group. So that's what we start learning.
Your local apartment association. So like we are from Texas, so TAA or NAA, the National Apartment Association, they have classes. So we are both IRAP certified. We took over passive courses, we took over syndicator courses. So a lot of that learning, school type learning, certification type learning. So we did a lot of that. And so, training wise, that's where it fit. But when we first started, that that okay, we need to take over as a sponsor, we first got into a passive deal. Hands-on experience is what, in our opinion, works the best. So we participated in another sponsor's deal, and we helped out on that deal a lot, just for us to learn. And then we slowly started with a small number of units. Our first property was 55 doors only, and then slowly learned from there. And last year we purchased a 300-door property. So that's how it came about.
No, very good. I mean, I think one last question I would like to ask you today is, I know we have chatted a little bit, and how are you guys helping others to grow in this business? I know you do this, and I just wanted to hear from you. What is your take, and how do you help other budding syndicators in this area?
Right.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think that's a great question. So we have our passive investors that who have grown with us from the day one, and they shown interest that okay, I'm looking to buy my own deal. Would you help me? Uh, Either doing underwriting, go walk with me. I want to see the property. What do we need to do? Do the due diligence on this thing. Working with the lender, so find the right loan. And at the time that then that's okay. Would you be able to guarantor for me? Because we obviously when you're new, you don't have enough network. So we help them that way. So we just and then once the property is acquired, we help them, okay, how to run the property asset manager. Obviously, we are kind of become backed out scene. We just help them to start learning the property and then help them as they need move forward.
Right.
Very good. No, that's awesome, guys. I mean, you guys are doing awesome job. That brings us to the logical break here towards the next section. Both Bhuvan and Pratima ji, thank you so much for attending, and feel free. The next section that we have is the networking round, where we break everybody into smaller groups, group of 4 or 5, so that everybody can, talk to each other a little bit more, on audio and everything. But before that, I wanted to share something with everybody, those who are on this call, is those who, I mean, I've been into real estate also for some time, for last 3 4 years, and I have created a course, and it's all free stuff basically, and I'm going to share my screen. I have created a email course, and I have created a passionate passive investors club, basically. And there is all free education that we provide. I have a bunch of videos, and we update a lot of blogs and stuff in there. And I'm gonna leave this in the chat window, the link. So myrealtygains.com/PPIC. The way I have written is Passionate Passive Investor Club, PPIC. If anybody
Yes.
wants to talk to me, they can schedule an appointment with me, or there is a 7-day passive email course also. But PPIC is good enough because we have all talked about um, uh, advantages of passive investing. So I just created a small course, and again, there's no charge or anything. It's just knowledge sharing. And I'm leaving that in the chat window as we speak. The links in the chat window. You can copy it from there, subscribe it, or whatever you want. 7-day email course or passionate passive investor course, myrealtygains.com/PPIC. Having said that, I have another 10 minutes of networking round, and I'm going to break everybody in smaller groups. That's called breakout room. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'll do the breakout rooms, and I'm going to create about 14, 15 people. Some are starting to leave already, but I'm gonna create some breakout rooms. Okay. All right. Here you go, guys, and let me know if you guys are starting to jump into your rooms. Looks like
Hello. Hi, Manuel.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, Manuel.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing all right. I guess they put us in a breakout room, but nobody else was there. So we came back here and then you were here.
Okay, I don't know how to, I'm not in a place where I can use the video, so.
You're on the audio, that's fine.
Yeah, it's hard to hear you.
It's hard to hear me. Oh, sorry.
No
Um,
problem. What do you do, Manuel? Do you passively invest or you're a sponsor?
no, right now I'm mostly doing, fix and flips on single families.
Got you. Okay.
I've sent some LOIs on some multis, but nothing's come through yet. I'm just getting
Mhm.
into that. I don't really know too much about it yet. I don't know how to,
I see.
I don't know how to raise the money is basically the thing. Where are you guys located again?
We are in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay. I've been to Dallas once. I'm in the Boston, Massachusetts area.
Okay,
Oh,
wow.
I see.
Yeah, that's Boulder City.
Yes, it's cold. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd rather be
Yeah, it's,
down there, but this is where I am for now.
no, that's a great place. I know it's a very, very beautiful city. We've been Boston a couple times, but
Yeah.
we've been in Dallas for a longer time. Yeah.
Okay. So, it was very, I really liked your story.
Thank you.
Um,
Have you been
it's,
listening to Prashant? Sorry,
no,
go ahead.
actually, this is the first time I've been on any of his calls, any Zooms.
I see.
I just saw the calendar meeting today and I switched on, so that's how I got on it.
How did you find out about it, or did you know him before?
I believe it was an ad on Instagram or Facebook, something like that.
I see. I see.
So I just clicked on it. It sounded very interesting. He made it sound very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any any suggestions or any motivation as far as financing or doing syndications?
Yeah, so I mean, bank financing, it depends on, how big of a deal it is.
My
There
research
are
is,
local
sorry,
for
local.
multifamily or single family.
No, I know how to do the single family. The multifamilies is a little bit harder.
Right, right. So
I
there
have
are local
found
banks.
local banks is tough because they all want at least 20% down.
Right.
Well, the agencies, the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would also want 25% down these days.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's a good property, it's stabilized, then yes, you'll be lucky to get, 20%. Otherwise, usually it is, somewhere between 21 to 25% you have to come up, and that's the reason you have to then syndicate a deal, meaning you get some more partners with you, passive partners, or
Right.
key principals to help put together that 25%.
Right.
Yeah, you
You
do need that.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you when you do analysis as far as cash flow on the properties you buy, do you have any special type of software to make it easier to analyze those numbers?
No, it just we have developed our own strategy, our own analysis.
Okay.
You know, right? Yeah, over the course, you learn and you do that. But
Right.
I am sure, Prashant, since he has that 7-day course, I'm sure he's teaching some of the formulas and some of the things in there, and
Okay.
it's free. You probably want to look at that.
Okay.
Um, right.
Yeah, other thing, man, what you want to do is, I know the 20% is a lot. Uh, you might want to look into like a fourplex or something like that, smaller.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that case, and when you buy something, if it is maybe, let's say maybe 300, $400,000, you're looking for a 20% down. You probably want to start uh, talking to your friends and families like that, and start getting to a some networking done, and
Right.
just ask them they want to put $5,000, $10,000, and they do a some shareable thing that I will manage the property, I'll give you X number of percentage and every year. I think the thing that in this industry is, when you do a syndication, they are all looking for uh, your they're looking for your surety that you're not going to take the money, run away. Okay.
Right.
They also want to make sure that you are honest enough, you are going to work on behalf of that, because you're taking somebody else's money.
Right.
So you need to start putting some kind of a networking and see how much money can you collect, and then you can go buy a smaller fourplex, twoplex like that, and start learning the process, how you can start buying some multifamily. It definitely can, especially in Boston area, the properties aren't cheap, but I know that there are a lot of fourplex and
Yes.
fourplex, twoplex like that.
That's well, I appreciate that advice. That's probably what I should be doing.
Right.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
I will start looking tomorrow morning.
That's right.
Um, well, I
Well, we have
appreciate your
another
time.
person who joined.
You're
Sorry.
welcome. Yes, sure.
I
Okay.
was just saying we have another person who has joined here.
Yeah.
Nanette.
Who's that?
Yeah, I'm here. I just came from one of the other breakout rooms and came back to this room. Yeah. I really
Got you.
appreciate how you all started. What motivated you to get started in real
Thank you.
estate?
you know, so we, just like I said, we were both working, both IT background, and we were empty nester. And in a sense that we were at home, we were not home actually. We were working, working, working. The only thing we had in mind is work, work, and work. We're leaving office, we are in the car, laptop on, come home, and then we have a team in South Asian countries, so we are always on. So then we decided that, we can't live our life that. We need to do something else. And that is where we decide to explore what would be the best thing to do. And um,
Yeah, we were looking for control back to our life, some time freedom, because that corporate world, even though we had pretty good jobs, pretty high designations, the time was equally, needing to be, high time usage. So that's what drove us to look into real estate to see if we can free some time for ourselves.
Well, that's excellent.
And it just worked out pretty well. And we decided to leave that world and be in this world.
yeah, it's we don't have enough time either. Now we have our business, we have multiple properties, so we still work long hours, but at least we don't have to be like, okay, you need just like
We are the
Prashant,
boss
we
of
are the
our
boss.
own time.
You know, we don't have to get up 7:30 and run down to office. Our office is our study room. We just walk from there to there. So
That's excellent. That's excellent. Hmm.
What do you do, Nana?
I'm a real estate broker, an investor in Southern California. I
Oh,
own rental
nice.
and single family, and then um, I'm actually I'm first generation, well, second generation here. My family's from Ghana, so I actually am building business out there too. So that's been over the last 2 years. So that's what I do.
That's very interesting. Building business in Ghana and then here. Wow.
Yes, yes, yes. It's an emerging market, and so
Right.
I'm taking my real estate skills over there and applying them. I've bought some land recently and looking to build, so just
What
taking
is
what
how do you compare the pricing over there?
in the city, in the capital, it's very expensive. So
Oh, really?
yeah, and they sell in dollars, so it's not even the local currency.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So is
So
it quite comparable? Probably much cheaper than California, but maybe it's Texas size comparable.
maybe a house that'll go for 1 million will go for maybe 600,000 there in the city. But when you get outside of the city, then it gets more affordable. But it's
Gotcha.
just like anywhere, I remember in Southern California where the outskirts were extremely cheap, and now they're not cheap anymore. That's the same thing in Accra. The outlying areas are becoming more developed and more expensive. And so people are having to go farther and farther out to find affordable housing from the main city.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's it. But yeah, here, um, I was an empty nester until coronavirus hit and all my college age kids came back home. So
Yes.
so yeah,
Let's
so
see.
waiting for everything to get settled again. And then I was looking what you said about the fourplex, that's where I'm looking
Well,
back because that was our first property was a fourplex. My husband was in the military, and so he was able to use a VA loan, and our first property was a fourplex. So we bought it no money down, got cash on close because of the deposits. But we sold that, and so we've been in single family since. So I'm looking to get back into um, multifamily.
yeah, that's where you can get um, the economies of scale.
Yes.
So, it's single family. You can get, if you buy, say, four single families, you're driving, traveling to four different places versus getting it in one place. And that's where, not only from driving perspective or, looking over perspective, it's also from operational perspective. You can hire
Right.
one manager or part-time manager and a part-time maintenance person, to manage all four units or all 8 units, however many units you're purchasing. So that economies of scale helps out in the expenses side. And
Excellent.
then, multifamily become more and more profitable.
Yeah, attractive. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you so much. This was so informational. I really liked what you said about being passive first to get the experience. I think that's very important on the bigger scale.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was very helpful to us as well. Yeah,
I think that's the path I'll take when looking at the bigger
yeah,
unit.
exactly.
Thank
All
you
right.
so
Well, very nice meeting you, Nanette. And
much.
is this your first time joining here, or you have been joining Prashant's meetings?
This is my first time. A friend of mine, he's in the mortgage note business. I saw on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn that he had said he was coming to this meeting, and so when I saw that, I said, "Let me check it out." And this is my first time.
I see.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing. This was very valuable.
Thank you very
You're
welcome.
welcome.
You have
All
a
right.
great
You too.
You
Good
too.
night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
evening.